Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, creepy friends. Welcome to Nixie Bobs. You've not known me as Nixie Bobs since doing Thunderbirds. I've always been S8B and also that Thunderbirds girl. That's another tag I use on this one because it's fun. But we changed to Nixie Bobs. I have changed to Nixie Bobs more like. I just felt like I got tired of that name and I wanted something new, but because I don't think I can change my YouTube handle, it's going to be S8B on here, but you know, as you will, basically. I'm actually called Nixie Bobs, but you're going to have to search me under a different name. So we are here today to have another vintage slash kind of new Thunderbirds episode review. It was going to be Attack of the Alligators, but we've kind of changed it because, as you guys know, I got this! Ah, look! Finally! I got it. I actually ordered two. I had one for my dad, which was for Father's Day, and one for myself, which is this lovely copy here. We did sit there the day after Father's Day and watch all 3 episodes, and I was mentally reviewing them. I actually got one completely down, but when the Abominable Snowman started, I got so distracted by watching the episode that I didn't properly review it. Basically, I think when you've not seen them before, you're kind of so engrossed in them. I know when I'm watching the new Thunderbirds Are Go, I consistently have to pause the video to make sure that I'm writing down what I want to do and then also watch the episode as it's going on sometimes. But with this one, I was just so into it that I was like, I've got a few words on the Abominable Snowman, and it was like, nah, I'm watching this. So I did manage to do all of introducing Thunderbirds, so we're going to push Attack the Alligators back to another time, and I'm going to focus on this one now because I think I've had quite a few requests to do this and to look at this, so I think we'll focus on these 3 first, but I don't want to run them all into the ground and do them all quickly. I know apparently the 3 episodes are debuting at a movie show, and there is actually a petition to get them on Christmas Day, which I totally want to be part of. But as for now, we're just going to do introducing Thunderbirds. Now, there wasn't a whole load for me to talk about on this, so I'm going to do the best I can. So there's really not a main big plot line in this. It is essentially just introducing absolutely everything that we have seen before, you know, introducing each craft individually, showing Lady Penelope, who brought a whole load of suitcases along with poor little Parker struggling with them, and Parker struggling with that big old radio box thing that Jeff had. One of the most interesting things in this was solidifying a relationship between Penelope and Jeff, because obviously Jeff has brought Penelope in to be his London agent, and she obviously wants to do it all formally. He's like, no, you're part of the team, you're part of us. So she, in turn, I don't want to be Lady Penelope, call me Penny. Great, lovely little bond going on there. It was a way of kind of bonding them, because there was always that hint, I always felt, between Jeff and Penelope of a little bit of romance. It wasn't really hinted in the human version from 04, and thank God, because that movie was just bad. It was, you know, it's the 2 of them bonding, him explaining everything, almost showing off in a little delicate way, but her finding out everything, getting excited about being part of this super secret organisation, and, you know, feeling part of something. She was the woman of a time, and it definitely shows in the Abominable Snowman, which we'll get onto in another couple of videos' time, that she was brave, that she was different, that she was a strong woman of a futuristic version of the 1960s. And it was more so than introducing all the crafts about them bonding, and I enjoyed that little interaction between them. Actually, I felt like that was the staple piece of the entire introducing Thunderbirds episode. Penny's outfits in this episode, just give me the vintage fan wants all those clothes, please. I'll flatten my eyelashes. The fun thing about watching this one is that my dad was watching it with me at the time, and he sat there and went, I've got the original 45 of this, and then proceeded to sit there and quote half of the dialogue going on. It was so fun just sitting there with him, and I'm sat there opposite him, and he's like, yeah, and now this. I guess back in the day, as this was a radio telecast, it was getting a generation of fans excited about something that they'd never seen before, that was brand new, that was fresh, that was going to be a staple of their generation. Not that they knew it. Also because it's futuristicness, if that's a word, its crafts, the way that it was using things, the way that it was very different to anything that had really been done in that kind of generation of certainly kids TV per se. it was so exciting, and it must have been so exciting to have heard all these crafts, and you're sitting there going, oh, I can't wait to see that. Oh, Thunderbird 1, Thunderbird 4, oh my god, who are all these characters? Everything that was going on that we just hadn't seen, or that they hadn't seen back then rather. I say it all the time, but it must have felt so exciting because this was so ahead of its time for then and for all the ideas that were going into it. So I guess to a point, it's really, and certainly from my dad's generation, a fan's dream to see this made with the puppets in front of your face, just not from hearing these radio casts. It must be something so nostalgic and so amazing for that first generation that it must be brilliant. I think one of the interesting things for me, since there's not really a huge plot line here, is trying to work out where they used all the brand new footage and where they used stock footage, if you want to call it that. So like when Scott was taking off, you could tell that that was kind of like old footage that had been pre-done. Because what the interesting thing for me across these 3 episodes with, and I don't know if anyone's ever noticed this, so holler at me if you haven't, but like, one thing that I noticed between series 1 and 2 of the originals was the fact that Scott and Virgil got, I'm going to say, new heads. Scott had his eyebrows waxed, and Virgil, I think his hair colour changed. So I was looking forward to seeing which version of Scott they were going to use, and they did use the second version of him, which is where it had his eyebrows done. So the interesting thing here was trying to work out where they were using the older footage and where they weren't. You saw more of the newer footage in the other 2 episodes. But in this one, for example, where Scott took off in his craft and said, okay, father, you knew that that was old footage because it was the older head of Scott. I don't think I heard Alan Tracy talk in this, but I don't know if Matt Zimmerman was actually cast as Alan Tracy when they did these radio casts, because if you remember back to the very, very first episode ever of Thunderbirds that was humanly produced on a screen, Alan's voice was not Matt Zimmerman's voice. It was some low voice of, okay, father. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, and every time I watch that moment, I still crack up to this day. So I don't know if it was because of that reason. Maybe I missed Matt Zimmerman talking. Maybe I missed Alan talking, rather. I'm not quite sure. Do tell me. I've only seen it once, and I'm trying to remember it from a week ago. Maybe I'm getting this wrong. Maybe they've redone every single thing from the takeoffs to everything. It does seem cleaner and fresher in the picture, but that could just be because nowadays they can put it through a million different things and make it clear. I mean, they've done it to like E.T., for example, and a bunch of other old movies. Have they done it to Star Wars? I'm not quite sure. I know obviously there's new Star Wars movies coming out now. The picture is a lot better, so it could just be that I'm completely way off the mark here and talking crap. I'm just taking it as I see it. Penny blatantly abusing Parker is kind of endearing to watch, but I feel like he's being bullied, bless his heart. It's what we expect to see, but she's being unusually harsh on Parker here, I think. I don't know if maybe they changed the relationship between them when they went into making, obviously, the series of Thunderbirds as we know it. But I did feel like he was a bit of a bullying victim in this episode. One thing my dad noticed, and I decided to pull up on this because I did notice it myself, but more so because he mentioned it, the puppetry wires we're seeing here seem a lot thinner than what we were used to seeing in the original. They seemed a lot thinner and a lot less easy to detect, which is amazing when you're watching puppets because you come more engrossed in them and you identify more with them as being real, I guess, if that's the right thing to say. As an introduction to this whole project as a whole, this gets you so excited because it definitely got me excited for the next 2 episodes. I was sitting there going, oh, they've done so well, they've done everything so proud, and I can only imagine that Jerry Anderson and Sylvia Anderson are sitting up there smiling down on everything that was done here. And that, having that one's the first one, obviously introducing the others, it's going to be the first one, but I think it definitely got you excited and got you sitting there thinking, I just wish I could have been part of it. And seeing actually a couple of the women that were actually involved in this project, can I have your clothes? You have some gorgeous clothes. I want them. That was introducing Thunderbirds. Do let me know what you thought of this first one. There is not a whole great deal to say about it. As I said, I'm trying to just kind of crawl off the back of my mind and tell you what kind of excited me about it, I guess, because there isn't really much I can really discuss with you about this one other than it was everything we already knew. I think if this was made back in the day as a human version, we would be like, oh, human version. What am I on about? I know I need to go to work, so my mind's kind of rushing. Thank you for watching this one and being here. I'm going to try and get the next 2 out quicker, just so that we can say that we've done it. If you would like to tell me anything that you also loved, please do. If you would like to tell me anything I missed, please do. If there was anything that I'm missing, let me know. And I will see everyone again for another video of Thunderbirds 1965, original Thunderbirds, and obviously Thunderbirds I'll Go is coming back this year. We don't know yet when. It kind of got a bit duped on us last week, and you know who you are for getting that wrong, bless your heart. I will see everyone again. Bye.